one, but they're pretty common when you're downtown, but in the woods they're not common. But the even less common version of that is a Freeman tag. Now, there's not a whole lot of ironclad history on what these were and what happened to them all. So a lot of the paperwork got destroyed in Columbia when Sherman burned during Civil War, all the tax records and that stuff. But through digging privies and stuff downtown, they wrote that book and tried to get as much information as the Freeman tag is dated towards the end of the Revolutionary War. So I think they were part of that. You know, you joined the Revolution, you became kind of an army or militia here, most likely in South Carolina. Then they said they got 2 years. If you fought for 2 years, you got your freedom. So I think those were all part of that. And they are just gorgeous, gorgeous little artifacts.
Wow.
I think that's my great white whale.
Okay.
I think 10 of them have been found, 10 of them, and 1 or 2 of them were silver.
Wow.
Ooh.
Now, would they have made them themselves, or would it be something that would have been made as part of their...
It's made part of the system in South Carolina, in Charleston.
Yeah.
So they would have been made downtown by silversmiths. And all of the silversmiths made all of the slave hire badges too. So they were trackable between the different silversmiths that would get the contract for the city that year that actually got to make them. LaFar is my favorite. He's got really pretty writing on all of his.
Wow. Oh my.
It's pretty cool history.
Yeah, that is.
It really is.
I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, if you go online and look up Charleston Freeman tag, they'll start popping up. They've got a Liberty cap and they say free on, and then they have the number of the ones that were made, however many that were, and then sometimes they have other stuff on them, but they say free across them, a banner with a Liberty cap. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
So the Liberty cap, is that anything like the one on, like on some of our cap bust dimes?
Yeah, like the coins and the buttons. Okay. Looks like the same kind of cap with the rattlesnake and Liberty cap button and all that.
Very neat. Wow. So we learn something new all the time.
Different regions,
and that's
right?
something this hobby keeps giving, in so many ways, because different regions have so much different types of history, and so it's really neat.
It's neat to see it across the states and different people digging all the different stuff, like American silver, or I don't ever really find, like I heard y'all talking about Indian heads, like I might have found 5 Indian heads. It's just not as common here when we're out looking for colonial sites, I guess.
Right. So what was your first silver coin then? Do you remember?
Half react.
Nice.
Okay.
1775, I think it was. Beautiful too. It looked like it was dropped yesterday, and it had the smile from Charles on it and everything. I still have it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's pirate treasure, man. I was so stoked.
And that's a heck of a first silver coin find.
Right? I'm a little jealous there, actually. That's amazing. That's really cool. Oh, boy. Yeah.
All about research. I read a lot.
That's good. That's great. For me, just to find my very first large cent, I had to travel all the way to Ohio to find it. First time I went, I found an Indian head, and I was so disappointed because I can dig Indian heads all day long here. But what do I find? Indian heads. So you never know. But, yeah, you don't find largies here, but I'm sure you find plenty of those are quite common, I'm sure, where you are.
Not the American ones.
Really?
We dig a lot of British coppers. A lot of them are wiped here. Yeah.
Really?
Hibernias and Britannias and stuff like that. We dig. Those are super common here, but we don't dig a lot of the. I don't. Some other people here do. I don't dig a lot of the big American coins. They hardly come up on my sites as much. There might be like one every like 5 or 10 sites.
Well,
Loads of British coppers. We're like the running joke is this British stuff back in the hole.
well, what's the oldest coin have you found?
So I found a coin that was cut in half and then it was worked. And at the very bottom of it, the only thing you can make out on it is 1690.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's the oldest dated thing I have.
Wow. That's fantastic. Amazing.
Yeah,
So, do you think anything about that story? Maybe you mentioned something, an alligator or crocodile or something like that while you're out.
Oh, yeah, okay. How about, I got one for you then. So I'm put in a kayak at a boat landing, and I'm trying to get to this island. It's a 4-mile paddle each way. So I've timed it right with the tide, and the low tide's taking me out. I'm riding it out. I'm barely even paddling. I got 4 miles to go. I'm in a 10-foot kayak. I always keep my machete like on the little deck and chilling. And there's rice all the way down the sides of the bank. So once you're in, I mean, you're booking it because it's really going out. The tide's really taking you. And I mean, maybe 10, 15 miles an hour on a kayak, kind of fast. There's rice banks everywhere. There is nothing. You can't get out. You have to walk through pluff mud and die in the rice marsh. There's nothing. So once you're in, you're in. And I look over after about 5 minutes in, and it's all sketchy gator-looking stuff. There is a easily 12-foot alligator right beside me, cruising out with me. And he was longer than my kayak. He was wider than my kayak, and that was a true old F me moment. And I was like, oh, my God, if he wanted me, he could have me. Because once they get over about 8 feet, then they can really do some damage. And he just looked at me and kept on going. He was riding the tide out, kept right on going. But that was that's one that really sticks out to me, that I don't just jump into rivers now like that anymore. I try to go right around, do a little more research and stuff. That was a risky one.
Wow. Oh, man. I might have had a heart attack. Wow.
I'd be probably,
doing the same.
Yeah, making that phone call. Hey, not sure I'm making it back home. Want to let you know I love you. I'm going out doing what I love.
So that's the thing. Right? You don't have service in these places. I'm actually quite surprised to have it here. But I'm standing on the high ground, and most of these places you don't even have service. So it's like, oh God, like you don't even you can't do it.
Now, do you have like the poisonous snakes there too that you have to watch out for?
Yeah, we have, I think, all of them. South Carolina's pretty dangerous. So we have, what do I come across? Come across diamondbacks. Come across a lot of the canebrake or timber rattlers. And then copperheads and all that stuff. Copperheads are pretty prevalent down here. They're everywhere. Cool thing about hunting at night, though, is that most of those snakes shine when you shine a light on them. I've come to notice because I'll see them crossing, and I'm like, what is that? It's like the surface over there. It's a copperhead.
Wow.
So when you're hunting at night, you can see them better with the lights.
Yeah. So do you wear like a headlamp when you're out?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a...
Oop, you're breaking up again.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
Can you still hear me?
We can
hear you now.
What kind of headlamp do you have?
It was a bike lamp. I think it's called Cat Eye or something like that. But it comes with a head strap, and it was good for 8 hours at like 1,200 looms. So it's got this giant battery, and I wear a backwards hat, but it lasts most of the night.
Oh, wow.
For anybody who's joining us a little bit later on, halfway through the show, just so you know, Axel is out in the field right now. He's been digging. Probably will continue digging as soon as we get back off this. So if he does break up or whatnot, signal, like you said, is a little spotty there. But he found a high point in the field to be able to call us and talk to us tonight. So
word up.
Yes.
That's exciting. So, what about, I know you've probably you found some pretty interesting things and we've already talked about one of your favorite finds and stuff like that. Do you have any strange finds, like, or weird or spooky, I don't know, creepy, anything like that?
Got a couple. I got a creepy one and some
Oh no.
mortuary tags out on the beach from people dumping ashes and then kind of like want to put it back. So that's a creepy one. What else? Let's see. What was it? Creepy, and then you said what else? Sorry, I lost my thought.
Creepy or strange or...
Strange. Oh, yeah. So I've got this piece of lead, and it's trench art I found in a Confederate camp close to the harbor in Charleston. And it's got a man and a woman on it, and they're having intercourse. And she's got his leg. He had, like, carved it out, and when you hold it up to the light, you can see him in strip. And it's cut out of the lead, and it is. She's got a bun on the back of her head, and it's trench art pornography, and it's the strangest thing I've ever seen. I had to send you a picture of it. It's hard to explain, but when it's flat on one side, and then the other side has like people on it, and they're both standing, and then she's got her leg across him, and you can see it. It's hilarious.
Wow!
It took me forever to figure out what it was because it's just like. It's very strange looking, and then like finally it clicked, and I was like, "Oh my God!" So that one's definitely on the display shelf.
Oh, well, we have a young one in chat tonight. She's laughing.
Tried to keep that as clean as I could.
Yeah, nope, that was fine.
You did.
Yeah, you did well. It's been much worse than that, so that was fine.
Oh yeah, that was mild compared to another time or two. Oh gosh.
Now, with people knowing that you're in the area and detecting and stuff, have you gotten any calls that kind of help do a recovery or return?
So I've had a bunch of people call and then they want to find home sites on their properties. A lot of people move down here and get into the history when they buy the land and the houses and stuff like that too. So a lot of calls like that. I don't do quite as many of the ring recovery stuff as some of the other people do. Mm-hmm. But we do a lot of graveyard locating. And then it's mainly just people wanting to call to find stuff. And their yard was historic, I guess.
Now, do you give it back to them, like all the stuff or do they just like looking at it? And
it depends on the permission, but a lot of people want it or they don't. I mean, but we try to give away. We find so much that we just give it all away.
Yeah.
I give it to kids. We relics all in my Jeep and hand them to people.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I found that helps spread the word too. So if you have the permissions that, and you do give everything back, and then they show their neighbors, and then all of a sudden you're getting a call, hey, can you come check my place too?
Yeah, I like to keep the history with the property.
Yep.
Right.
I've even restored some of the iron artifacts and took them back to the property owners.
Oh, that's nice.
Very cool. So, Axel, I'm curious to hear more about, can you tell us a little bit more about the process of the graveyard, location and locating and what that process might look like?
So I haven't done one in a while, but normally I just get a random phone call either during the day or during the night. It's Grant who helped ID the fire badge, and he'll call me and Chris Jenkins and Matt Lomas, and we go out and take GPR and or just metal detectors and look for artifacts and divots and stuff like that. And a lot of these are slave cemeteries that are unmarked, so they're impossible to find without equipment and stuff like that. But they put rocks and bottles and all kinds of different pottery and stuff around the graves, and then you can see them sunken. So then once we locate where we think they would have put a cemetery, just through research and different stuff and plats and all that, we go out with the GPR and confirm, and then they're able to take that to court to preserve that piece of land.